on our main card for UFC 254, taking place on ESPN Plus starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for those on the Eastern Seaboard of the United States. And this is going to be Aspiring Sports Burners featured big boy matchup, first iteration featured big boy matchup of the weekend we've got coming up. Alexander Drago Volkov versus Walt the Big Ticket Harris. Some heavyweight fighters coming in at you.
Thoroughly looking forward to this one. This has got all the ingredients to be an absolute banger. I mean, on paper, it's a must not lose for both fighters, because if you do lose, then you've got that status of becoming that sort of gatekeeper in the heavyweight division. And for both Volkov and Walt Harris, you do not want that status whatsoever. So it's a big performance needed from both men, and both are going to bring it. With Volkov, predominantly, he's a striker at heart who's most comfortable standing up. Very experienced, got a lot of wins under his belt by knockout, a superior reach, got heavy hands, and he's very accurate whilst throwing. And he throws with purpose. He's very accurate in his striking. He always looks to stay busy in the octagon. Has some successful ground and pound if things are ever taken to the canvas, but with Walt Harris, you know what to expect from him. I think all of his fights have come via form of knockout. He's athletic. He's very explosive, who heavily relies on his striking ability. He's certainly a nightmare standing up, and does a lot of his work in the early rounds. And I think that's sort of going to be the game plan for Walt Harris in this one. If he's going to get it done, then I think he'll have to do it early and just sort of unload on Volkov very early on. But Volkov, again, has the reach advantage. And just there's so many ways in which he can throw Walt Harris off edge and cause some serious damage. And I think if Walt Harris doesn't get it done in the first round, then I'll see Alexander Volkov sort of picking him apart, and I'm going to go for either a late finish or a decision. I'm going to go for a Volkov fight decision. I think if Walt Harris doesn't get it done early, then it becomes a Volkov fight.
I agree with a lot what you're saying, but I am still writing the Walt Harris feel good, like he's still fighting for his daughter stuff. And as much as I love Alistair Overeem, I was cheering so hard for him last fight, and it was kind of heartbreaking to watch him not get the W. I think getting a fight under his belt, coming back from that strategy, and hopefully a little bit more focused on just fighting and not carrying that as heavily with him to the cage. I think we're going to see a sharper Walt Harris, and I think we're going to see a Walt Harris that gets it done. Volkov has shown, he can't. He's such a good technical striker. Obviously, former Bellator champ, heavyweight champ, right? Am I crazy about that, or am I right? I'm right on that, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but we have seen that he does have the ability to. He does get hit sometimes, and when he does get hit by those big boys, I mean, we all remember the Derek Lewis knockout and stuff. And but I think he can get hit. He does have a good chin, and not everybody hits like Derek Lewis. But I think Walt Harris has the skill set and the ability to get it done in the second round.
I'm going to have to disagree on that one, Zach.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. I actually think the line on this should probably be a little bit bigger on this one. And the only reason that I say that is Zack touched on it when he first started talking about this. I think we've all kind of fell in love with Walt Harris and his story, which is an amazing story. Like, I don't think there was anybody, even Alistair Overeem, I think, was cheering for him to win in that last fight. But I don't like his gas tank. I don't like him when he gets put on his back. Volkov's bigger, he's longer. I think if there's a fight to look at and bet on and throw some money on why the odds are the way they are, I think Volkov is the guy, because I think this should be over 2-1, honestly. So I'm going Volkov, and I think it ends in the second round.
Cardio, gas tank.
Him and Phil Hawes fill up at the same gas station.
Exactly, bro. They're on that diesel, it's extra charge. It don't get you very far. But but they'll go hard for one round. Walt Harris, he finishes a lot of his fights in the first round. All of his wins are by KO or TKO. He's a southpaw. He's got huge power early, but he's well versed on the ground, but offensively at least, not defensively. Like his get-up game and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game looks almost non-existent. Like if this fight goes past the first round, the odds should be so much in favor of Volkov. Like Jason said, I can't believe the odds are what they are right now. I think Volkov should be a much bigger favorite. He's faced a much better competition. He's coming off a decision loss to Curtis Blades, but I mean, he's faced fighters similar to Walt Harris. You know, he pretty much was beating up Derek Lewis the entire fight until he got caught at the very, very end. He's got a 65% takedown defense of his own. So, I mean, is Walt going to be able to take him down? Obviously, he's a much better kickboxer than Walt. He's got a nice jab, good low kicks, good body kicks. And what I noticed from tape study is he'll invest in the body. And Walt Harris is super susceptible to gassing, like I said. So adding on a couple body shots here and there is only going to help. Man, like I said, he's faced the power punchers in the past. He's been able to avoid it, and I think he's going to be able to avoid it from Walt. Man, give me Volkov probably via TKO in the second round once Walt starts gassing, or even the third. But I don't see this fight going to a decision. Volkov should outclass him on the feet easily, or even, you know, when he gasses, he'll just be able to have his way with him, in my opinion. So, yeah, I just think the line is ridiculous. That Volkov is only, I think he's opened at the minus 155 favorite. He's probably like a minus 180 now. But, yeah, pretty crazy.
Hey, I just want all you to know, when you're all picking against me, if I'm right on any of these, I'm going to be insufferable next week.
I've been hearing it all week, all week.
You'll show up in the compilation.
We've probably done 5 fighter interviews for a big fight card we have coming up next month, and every one of them, Zack has started off by saying, "Who won the fight last weekend?"
T-City.
So what do you all think briefly? It seems like everybody's kind of in the same camp for that heavyweight fight there. Assuming that everybody's right, you know, and Volkov pretty easily.
Harris. Zack likes Harris.
Oh, yeah. Zack does like Harris. Zack likes Harris, though.
He's the one jacking up the odds.
Okay. I just want to say this. Should Volkov win this fight? Yes.
There we go.
But weird stuff happens in MMA fights, and you can't just pick favorites down the whole line. You have to find some opportunities where you think some upsets could happen. And Walt Harris, before he took his step away, he was on a pretty nice run. Right? Am I crazy to remember? I'm going off my memory, and I get punched in the head a lot.
You are in fight camp. Yeah. He did go on a nice little run. He had 3 fights in a row.
Yeah,
he had a win against Daniel Spitz, and then a win against Sergey Spivak, and then a win against Oleinik, and then he lost to Overeem. And then before that, he had lost.
And he had Overeem rocked, and the ref could have stopped it, and it wouldn't have been a bad stop.
Overeem let him, though. There was the whole build-up, and I feel sorry for you, so go ahead and take a shot.
He's got a loss to Fabricio on there as well in 2017.
Yeah. That's not a bad loss, losing to Fabricio in 2017.
In 2017, no. So what do you – I think –
I'm just saying. I think he's a little bit of a live dog here. That's all.
I like Walt Harris a lot. I think Volkov's going to win that fight a lot. What does anybody see anything coming next for Volkov if he does win? I mean, he was on a hot streak as well there, coming off a win over Fabricio was his last win in that streak, and then he lost to Derek Lewis, but then he won against Greg Hardy. Do we see him go? Where do we see him going next, or is he kind of at the peak of where he goes?
He can't get past the elite wrestlers, so
yeah.
I mean, everybody knows it. You know, they know his weakness, so.
I don't think there's anybody that it really like. It's kind of like him and Derek Lewis to me are like kind of stuck gatekeepers for the heavyweight division to me.
Yeah.
Like I don't see either of them ever having UFC gold around their waist, but they're always going to be right there in the top 4 to 6 range.
Yeah. So there's a lot. I mean, you got to have guys like that are kind of permanent, like number 5. Like it's important to have guys like that in a division because those guys are great to prove whether or not someone belongs in it. Not in this case, obviously. Walt Harris is hardly a newcomer to the.